Welcome back to the Creativ Rise podcast. This episode, we have a special guest, Kenna Hiskey. She is a couples and brand photographer down in Southern California, and she was in our last round of the mastermind. This is her first full year of business, and she hit her first 10K,
12K.
actually 12K month this year, which is super cool.
Yeah, she just hit it, which is awesome. So she's only a few months in, and she's killing it. So shout out to you, Kenna. This episode is full of so many of her stories on what it looked like to get let go, how to transition into choosing to do full-time creative work, what her first couple steps looked like in getting that started, and then the journey to her first 12K month, which is awesome. So
it's really cool because we talk a lot about like the lifestyle ROI, like not just the financial ROI of, you know, building in your creative business, investing in your creative business. We also talk about the lifestyle ROI, which is really, really cool. So you guys are going to love this episode. It's a ton of fun. Real quick, if you want to go through the exact same experience that Kenna went through, the 6-week Creativ Rise Mastermind, we're starting September 15th, which is super exciting. We filled up almost all the spots. There's only a few spots left. Application deadline is this Sunday, September 8th. So if you want to claim one of the last remaining spots for this round of the mastermind, if you want to be in a community of people with the tools, systems, accountability, that exactly what Kenna had, that so many other grads have had to build a 6-figure foundation, then you got to apply before Sunday. We may even close it before Sunday if it fills up.
Yeah.
We will see.
Here's what you're going to learn, and so you can get the same experience that Kenna got. Week 1, we're going to be talking about bulletproofing your services. So like how to create a good offer, how to price those offers really well, building your 6-figure roadmap. Week 2 is all about mastering that brand. It's branding what you just built in week 1. It's branding the offers, branding who you're going to be working with, your ideal client, an ideal client workshop, building out your own brand from a narrative perspective, which is really important to actually put on your website, on your socials, help you in captions, all the things that are going to help you sell. Week 3 is all about how your network is your net worth. It's cliche, but it's very true. How to actually get in front of big brands, how to network with people in your industry, wedding vendors, you know, whatever that's going to be for you, how to actually utilize relationships to grow your business in a healthy way and not in a sleazy, gross way. Week 4 is huge. It's like a marketing degree in 1 week. It is marketing and selling like a pro, understanding deal flow, how to pitch brands, templates included, building your wedding pricing guide, templates included, building your sales funnel / lead gen system. We run you through exactly how you should be doing that so you can increase your leads this year, which is awesome. And then mastering sales. You got a great module on how to sell well. Mastering sales in a way that makes sales not sleazy and fun, which is really cool. Week 5 is all about scaling your time, money, and systems. So once you've built all those out, how do we scale those up? So scaling your income, your time, building a team, 6-figure money management plan. If you ever feel like you've made money and then you lost it because you just don't know where it went, this module is really going to help you learn how to manage your money. Then week 6 is about the healthy hustle, learning how to do all of those things without burning out, which is really important. So we are thrilled for the next round of the Creativ Rise Mastermind. If you are, our dog just knocked over the plant right behind us if you're watching the video. If you are, if you're looking to build a 6-figure foundation for your business, this is probably a great place for you.
Yes.
But in order to know that, you got to check out and get more information. So go to the website, creativrise.com, links in the description of the podcast, and you can get all the info there. You can even start going through the application. There's a place to book a call with us, and we will help you figure out if it's a good fit for you, which is really fun. So we cannot wait. Starting September 15th, there's only a few spots left. So
So if you want to claim one of those, click the link, get your application in right away. We can't wait to talk to you. So you guys get so pumped and listen to this podcast all the way through. It's so good.
Kenna's story is awesome. All right, guys. Here's Kenna.
All right. Kenna Hiskey, how is it going today? Thank you so much for being on the pod.
Heck yeah, of course. I'm so excited to be here.
We are pumped. Okay, we're just going to jump right into it. So every guest we have on the episode, we just jump right into rapid fire questions. So number 1, what's your name and where are you from?
My name is Kenna Hiskey. I am from Southern California, like Newport Beach area, and I am a brand, lifestyle, and couples photographer.
Love it.
I love it. The triple duo.
Here's somewhat what this episode is going to be about. Kenna, how long have you actually been doing that? How long have you been full-time as a brand lifestyle photographer?
Full-time as of December of 2023. So we're in August now, so like 8 months.
Okay, cool. And we're going to talk more about that story. This is Christy's favorite question. What's a flop you've had? Humanize yourself for a second.
What's like an embarrassing
story moment?
Like Joey's was when...
No,
you have one?
No, please go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say Joey didn't realize he had a wedding on the same day that he was supposed to show up on the wedding, and ended up getting there right before the bride walked down the aisle.
No, not right before. As she walked past me as I went through the door, and I filmed her back as she walked up. It was brutal.
So there are flops to be had, and what is yours, Kenna?
Okay, well, it actually has to do with you guys. So, I was so pumped
intrigued
about Creative Mastermind. I had a client that I had booked, and I had been going back and forth with her about all over email. Most of my clients I text because I asked in my inquiry form, do you prefer text or email? And most of them are text. This one was a email. She only preferred email. So I had gone back and forth. She had switched the date on me, switched the time. It was all in my books. But anyways, long story short, I was so pumped on Creative Mastermind. Wait, hold on. Can you hear my dogs?
Yeah, you're good though.
You're fine,
yeah,
though.
you're
We
pumped
love
up on
dogs.
you. Yeah, we
love
love dogs. You're pumped up on the Creative Rise Mastermind.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was so pumped on the Creative Mastermind that I completely forgot about her session and jumped on. It was literally our first week together. I was on the call with you guys. I end the call and my phone, of course, she's not texting me because she's never texted me before. I'm going through my emails and I'm like, wait, what the heck? And she's like, hey, Kenna, we're here. Where are you?
No.
And I was like,
Kenna.
I'm like, what? And then she sends another email. She's like, hey, so we've been here for 40 minutes. I unfortunately we're just gonna have to leave. We've driven an hour. I'm so sorry, but that's it. I completely missed the session.
Kenna, that might be one of the best flop stories we've ever heard on the podcast.
Literally.
Week one of the Creative Rise Mastermind. You are dialed in, you are focused,
dialed in for her
and
business
you
growth.
missed the session that was scheduled at the same time.
I feel so bad for the client.
I literally put it in the group chat that night. I was like, guys, what do I do? I feel horrible.
I forgot. I'm remembering that now.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. So here's the
That was so
question.
funny.
Kenna, what did you do? Because everyone's probably asking, listening to this going,
respond to that?
what did you do, Kenna?
Oh my gosh. Well, thankfully, because she had already kind of gone back and forth, I could kind of lean on that a little bit. Hey, I'm so sorry. Completely got the dates mixed up. I thought we originally. But anyways, I just didn't make excuses. I just owned it. I said, I'm so sorry. I will issue a refund. I apologize. I'm happy to make up the session for free. Thankfully, it was just an engagement session.
That's great.
I was I'm happy to make up the engagement session for free because by the time we got off our phone call, you guys, it was dark out. So I'm there's no way I can book it there and make it up to her the same day.
Oh yeah, no.
So yeah, that was my biggest flop. And it was literally the first call that we ever had. So I was like, wow, I'm starting this mastermind off great.
Oh my gosh.
Join the Creative Rise Mastermind, learn how to grow your business, and in the same process, at the same time, you will miss all of your sessions and have to end up You started week one by refunding people, by losing money.
Literally.
And now life looks quite a bit different.
Yeah, life looks a bit different. You just had your first 10K month, which congratulations.
Congratulations.
That is awesome. How did that feel?
So freaking good. I was kind of calculating it, kind of saw the numbers coming in, and then I literally just had one call after the other, and then I was kind of I hadn't looked at it in quite a while. It had been 2 weeks, and I looked at my numbers and all the contracts that were going out, and I was like, wait a second, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hit this. And then literally 2 minutes later, I had somebody reach out about a retainer, which is my first retainer client. I didn't tell you guys
Let's
that.
go.
Amazing.
My first retainer client, and it actually pushed me way over 10K. I actually ended up hitting 12K for this month. So
let's go.
Oh my gosh, Kenna, 12K.
You didn't
go.
tell us about this
That's
retainer client. That's amazing.
yeah,
That's
I'm
so
really
cool.
excited.
So
Okay, so I want
so much to talk about.
so much to talk about, but I want to start at the beginning because someone might be like, oh my gosh, a 10K month, a 12K month, that seems so out of reach. I'm going to have to wait years and years and years and years for that to maybe eventually be me. And I want us to go back to December in honor of a Taylor Swift song.
Yep.
Back to December, you were literally let go from your job. So talk about where you were at in that time period and how you felt and why you decided to pursue a creative career. I want you to take us back to the very OG beginning.
Totally. So I was doing photography part-time, didn't really think it was going to be a full-time job. I was essentially in these golden handcuffs. Like I was getting a good paycheck. Like I was stoked on life in the sense of like I had secure income.
Yeah.
And like anything from photography, I had this deal with my husband. I was like, anything from photography, I get to take. I can use it as fun money. I can reinvest it in
There
my
you go.
business. Like I can do whatever I want with it. So come December, I was handling marketing for like a custom home builder in Colorado, and I jump on the phone call, I'm like ready for my weekly meeting, and they're like, actually, we're closing your division. Like, we no longer need your position. So immediately I'm like, oh shoot, like what am I gonna do? And I kind of just took that as like I had already kind of like been contemplating going photography full time, but like was nowhere near set up, had no business knowledge at all, like had no idea how to even run a business or how much I should be charging. Like I was just kind of going off of my competitors, like what everybody else was kind of charging, and then reducing it by like 50% because I was like, I have no right to be charging people anything. Like I'm still starting out. And yeah, so then like literally the second week of December, right before Christmas, got let go. And I just took the leap of faith. I think literally the next day I saw your guys' podcast and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. And I just like, I listened to like 6 podcasts in like the span of like 24, 48 hours. Like I was just hooked. And then I think literally the next day I was like begging you guys on Instagram. I was like, please let me be a part of this mastermind. I know it starts literally in 3 days, but like, can we jump on a call, please? Like, I would love to be a part of it. And then I just knew that the first thing I needed was like business. I'm like, if I'm going to take this thing seriously, I need to know how to do this well, because I already know the creative side. Like creativity is like my jam, but I had no idea when it came to business, like what to do. So that's my
Yeah.
Hmm.
I remember jumping on that call with you. I
Yeah.
do think it was like 2 to 3 days, like literally before applications were closing for that round of the mastermind.
No, I think
Oh,
they'd
you
already
guys were
closed.
Oh, has it
and
already
and
closed?
she had asked us, and we
Oh,
were
before
like,
it started. Yes,
this
yes.
is such, I was like, she's so great.
Before
Her
a welcome
work is
call.
really good, and she really wants this. So we're like, we should open up a spot. Let's do
And
it.
I remember you were sitting in your car. It's like all these are
Yes.
like, we just love having these
Yes.
conversations with people. And I'm like, you're sitting in your car and you're like, hold on, my husband's like, we're packing up a friend's house or something like that. But like, I want to talk to you about this because I got let go from my job and I really want to pursue this, but I feel like I just don't know what I'm doing. And I feel like I'm really good at what I do, but I just don't know how to get clients, all that kind of stuff. And you were like, I've looked at other people from the mastermind that have gone through it and they're having these like 6-figure years and they're, hitting these big like 8, 10K months, things like that. And I just want a story like that. I literally remember you saying like, I just want a story like that. Like I want to be able to do something like that. And here we are, literally
Totally.
8 months later. And here you are, and you do have a story like that, and you are sharing.
I
So
know.
first of all,
Amazing.
that's so inspiring for everybody.
Super amazing.
So if you're sitting here listening to Kenna and going, you know what? I just got let go of my job, or I wish they would let me go. Sometimes it's actually a really good thing to get kicked in the butt and you get pushed into your career. You get a little bit shoved into your own business, which can actually be a really great launching platform. So that was really cool.
Totally.
That's a really, really cool thing.
I know, I
Okay,
was
so talk about you were getting
Go
started.
ahead. What were you gonna say? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I totally remember that like vividly. Like it was dumping rain. I remember talking to you and I like showed the camera. I like remember I showed you guys. You're like, "What's up, Connor?" And I was like, "Okay, they're my people. Like I love them. This is awesome."
Yeah, well, I
This is
remember
so
you were
fun.
telling us that Connor was a firefighter, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I went through a year of that
Yeah.
back when I was 18.
So many fun
And we were just
parallels.
chatting about it, and it's just so cool. Well,
Yeah.
why don't we get into the story? Because we've talked about your flop. We've talked about you getting let go right before Christmas, which is a crazy time of the year to let somebody go. We now talked about you being like, if I'm going to start this thing, I want to start it right, which I think is so cool.
Yeah.
Why don't we start there? Why do you feel like it is so important to start out right in a world where a lot of creatives start out and go, oh, I think I'll just try and figure it out on my own. And they get 8 months in, 2 years in, and they're still stuck where they were when they started. You chose a different path. Why did you choose to just go, I'm going to focus on getting the business knowledge and strategy right off the bat? Why did you think that was going to be so helpful for you?
Yeah, I think it was because like honestly, I remember like reaching out to the guy that shot our wedding. Like we ended up becoming like really close with him and his wife. Like they were freaking awesome. And I just remember reaching out to him like when I was first starting my business and just being like, hey, like, what do you suggest? Like, what do you think? And I reached out to a lot of photographers, like even people I didn't know on social media, like, hey, what did you guys do? And I just remember the same thing kept coming out of their mouth was the first couple years, maybe the first full year, like you're not going to really be making money. Like you'll be shooting for free for at least the first year, if not more. Like you need to, like, you're not going to be able to charge people. Like that's just kind of how it's going to be. And I remember within like 3 months, this is before I even like went full time. This is just when I was kind of playing around with it. I was like, well, let's see how much I can get away with. Like, let's see how much I can charge. And I wasn't like astronomical. I wasn't like $800 for 40 minutes. Like I was just more like, okay, like $100 for a couple photos, or, you know, $200 for a family session or whatever. Like I was just kind of going with it. And I think I've always, my mom will attest to this, I have never gone with the status quo. Like if you told me no, I was like, all right, let's see how we can do it. Like I was kind of like had that in me. And so I think just like hearing them say like the first couple years, like it's going to be rough. Like you're going to have to do stuff for free for sure. But I think like when I was getting compliments and people were like, dude, these are incredible. Like your work is awesome. Like I knew, okay, this is going to be something I can actually do. I can take this seriously. And when I knew that, I'm like, okay, I don't want to mess around. Like I want to do this the right way. And ultimately that was like finding out what was best for my business. And of course there's like a ton of things out there. Like you can Google stuff or ChatGPT, like how to start a business, but it's like nothing's going to like get you to a point where it's like, okay, now I'm ready to scale. Okay, now I'm scaled. Now like what's the next step? And I feel like watching and just like listening to your guys' podcast, like that's what I got the most out of it, is you guys were like, okay, if you're here, this is what you do. Okay, if you're already scaled, if you're already at 6 figures, like this is what you do. Like it was just so helpful to hear all of the different options. And I think for me, the thing that pushed me to be like, okay, I need to invest in my business is, okay, if I actually want to do this right and I actually want to make money at this, how do I do this well? And I think that's kind of like what sparked
That's so cool. So what are some of the things that you feel like helped you get to these, 10K month, 12K month? What are some of the things that you feel like you learned that really got you there? Because someone might be listening going, okay, I do want to like invest in my business. I do want to, I'm just getting started. Or maybe I've been in this for a couple of years and I have subscribed to the belief of like, oh, it will just be super cheap. I will have to scrape by.
The creative
I
struggle.
cannot succeed for multiple years. And they're in that. And they're like, well, what is Kenna doing differently than me? What do you feel like are some of the things that you've been learning and that you've been implementing that have helped build this crazy monthly number in your first year of business? What do you feel like you do differently?
Yeah, I think honestly, like kind of what we were talking about earlier is like, I create like an experience. I'm not selling like, hey, I'll come and shoot your wedding. And I think a lot of what you guys talked about in the creative mastermind is like building your why. And that was really hard for me to like kind of get past, because I'm like, I don't have a statement. I don't know what my why is. Like I just like to do what I do. But I think my whole experience is what brings people back and what makes people want to like refer me to other people and to like further my business. But ultimately I feel like, I don't know, there's honestly so much. Like you guys have helped like a crazy amount, but I think just like even kind of what we were talking about earlier, like price anchoring, like all of the things that you guys like these little sales tactics that I didn't know were like good. Because for
it's like the little things.
Totally, because I came into the creative mastermind like I am not going to sell anybody anything. If they don't want to buy it, they're not buying it. Like I'm not going to push them to buy anything. And I think just the way that you guys helped me understand sales in the sense of like, it doesn't have to be this pushy like, hey, buy this, or hey, let me upgrade you to this. Like just being really open and raw and being like, hey, you actually don't need this. Like this is what's going to be best for you. It's kind of like what helped me, I think, not only be approachable, but I'm just like super upfront about everything. Like I'm like, if you don't need that or if you don't want that, like let's make something that's gonna work for you.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to brands. Like I had an interior design company come to me, and that's actually the retainer client. They came to me and they're like, we love your work, because I did a free shoot for them, which I like wasn't sure if it was gonna pay off. I hadn't really talked to them. They had this other like random photographer doing their shoots for them. And I reached out and I was like, hey, like, I know we did this free shoot. Like, I just want to see if there's anything I can do. Like, if you want to maybe do another, like, something, like, what is it that's like holding you back? Like, just I'm an open book. Like, let me know. I will not take offense to anything. And she was like, honestly, like, our current photographer is doing it for X amount and we just can't really afford you. We understand that, like, your work is so valuable and, like, that's really important. But just right now where we're at in our business, because they're a smaller business, they're still getting started. They're like, but they're scaling crazy. Like, they have so much work now compared to when I was first, like, when I first did the free shoot. And just, like, getting that honest feedback and being like, okay, you know what? Like, now that I know what you can afford, let me customize a package and, like, get
Love it.
a better understanding of, like, what your needs are and, like, where you want to be in 5 years or 2 years or even a year, because again, they're still so new that it's
Yes.
like, then I was able to customize a package and, like, a quote for them where it fit all of their needs, but they then got to work with the person they wanted to in the first place. You know what I mean? They didn't have to compromise, like, what they
Yeah.
want.
I love
And
that.
sure.
So
quality of work.
when a client
Yeah.
when a client is engaging with you about a shoot, you touched on your sales process and how it's
Yeah.
very you.
Yeah.
What does your step-by-step process look like to actually get a client onboarded? You know, let's say someone hits your website, fills out an inquiry form. Where do you go from there? Because you've touched on how you think it's one of the things that you do well. What does that actually look like?
Totally. So when somebody comes in to, like, through inquiry, I immediately reach out via video. And that's something that you guys kind of touched on in the mastermind as well, that I didn't start implementing until recently and has been, like, a huge converter. Like, I get quicker responses, I get more interest, I get people that are like, wow, thank you so much. Like, that was so thoughtful. It's not just like a random generated text or email. So I think that's been super, like, something that's helped my conversion and all of that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
so yeah, so when they first come in, I send them a video of me, like, just talking about their business, what they're excited about. I ask for, like, vision board, because everybody's got a Pinterest. Like, everybody wants to know, like, you know, can you make this become a reality? And then I get on a sales call with them. Usually I try and do it that same week, if not, like, the next day. And then I just kind of talk to them about, you know, what are your needs? What are you looking to do? Where do you want to be? Like, where do you see your business? And then who are your competitors? Like, let's see what they're doing
Love
and do
it.
it better, or emulate what's performing really well for them. And then from there, we kind of just honestly have, like, a really open conversation. I'm really open about my pricing. I'm open about, like, what's realistic, what we can make happen. Like, it's just super fun to, like, get into, like, the creative mindset with them. And then from there, if they move forward, I start doing crazy mood boards or creative boards, and they love that. Like, if they see, like, okay, that basically for them is like a confirmation, like, okay, Kenna gets it. She knows what we want.
Yes.
We're confident with what she needs
Yeah.
from us, and then what she can accomplish. And so that's kind of like the process. And then from there, we just have fun, honestly.
I
Yeah.
love it. Kenna, what's so different, and this is what I love what you're saying, and there's so many things I feel like we could dig into that would just be so helpful, but I love that you're acting like a 10K business owner, not a first year
Yes.
business owner. Like, you are doing the things that cause results
Yep.
rather than just going, oh, well, I'm just giving myself the excuse that it's my first year, so I'm just gonna, like, wait for everything to come to me. I'm going to then just respond with copy and paste stuff from what other people are doing, and that's all I'm gonna do. You're like, no, I'm gonna make this thing custom. It's gonna be all about the experience. I have strategy behind my sales. Like, you're doing stuff that 10K business owners are doing, which is
10K per
amazing.
month.
10K
business
per
owners,
month,
yeah.
sorry, 10K per month business owners are doing, and that's incredible.
Yeah,
Really
that's
cool.
awesome. I wanted to point out two things that I think you said really, really, really well, and I think it's why you are having a lot of success. First thing you said was video, and quick plug, if you guys haven't watched, Kenna, you were there last night. If you have not watched the replay for the six-figure creator live workshop we just did, it's up there. You can find it and link in the description of this podcast. But one of the things that I talked about was using video in the sales process, because it allows you to show your personality, your passion, your tone, right? Your commitment to wanting to help them. So I love that you do that.
So good.
And how you do that sounds amazing. And then the second thing you said that I'm going to put words to is you talked about how you're like, I don't hold things too, I'm paraphrasing, but you said, I don't really hold things too tightly. Like, I'll get
Yeah.
creative with them. Let's figure out what's going to work for them. Let's find a good solution. That is you becoming an extension of their team. They feel like you're almost coming on board to their team and going,
Yeah.
I'm not just some random contractor you're hiring who's just going to do the bare minimum. I'm here to actually help. Like, I want to be a part of your team, whether it's for this week-long process of this shoot or whether it's for, a retainer, like you've got a retainer, or whether it's for a year. I'm an extension of your team. And I think brands love that.
Yeah.
I think brands absolutely love that because it makes them feel like they can totally trust you. So
Yeah.
I loved those two things you said.
That's awesome. Okay, I also want to touch on something else that you mentioned, and that's test shoots. So talk to us about why you do that. What does that look like for, wanting to get into a different space? What are test shoots? How do you operate with them? And what's the benefit of doing them? And what results have you seen from doing them?
Yeah. So test shoots, like, I don't even know if that's the right word for it, but basically test shoots are just my way of still getting creative without having to like execute for somebody or someone else, whether it be a brand, a personal like company, like anything that I would be working for. It's just more like fun for me. So that way I don't get burnout. I still get to get creative and I like get to have fun with it. So usually I like create a mood board or just like kind of get fun on Pinterest and like just start having fun. Canva has this great thing that I love to use. It's called Whiteboard. And I'll just like start throwing up a bunch of photos and like inspo and like vibe type stuff on there. And then I just kind of start reaching out. Like I'll just Instagram stalk people or I'll start like following and then like go to the suggested accounts and then like I just keep finding like either companies or models or venues or whatever that is. And then once I'm like kind of inspired by something, then I'll just like go after it. And so what I find like super cool is a lot of models are actually like open to doing test shoots because like they want portfolio photos and you need models to make that happen. So
Yes.
it's a great exchange. And I usually like just treat to coffee or lunch or something after just to like, say thank you. Because one thing I learned from you is always take care of your crew, like the people that are working for you.
Absolutely.
And even if it's just like throwing them some money, honestly, like thank you so much for helping me. Like I know you said you do it for free, but like thank you so much. Like people super appreciate that.
Good for you. Yeah.
But yeah, test shoots honestly have just been super cool. Like I'll just pick a random brand that I like really want to go after or somebody that I think or like a brand that I'm really inspired by or just would honestly want to work with and I just start blowing up their Instagram with all of the stuff that I've shot. And so it's not only helped me like become more selective because unfortunately, I used to be the type of photographer that would send you all the photos and not be like really selective about like the good ones and making them like, hey, these are each individual like you guys had like a really good word for it,
these
but,
are like individual photos. It's not just like a
photos.
different angle of the same thing 80 times. Yeah.
Exactly. Like being really unique, like having each unique photo. That
Yep.
helped me hone in that skill a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just because then I get to create these connections with these brands and they're like, wow, this is actually like really cool. Or even if we don't have something right now, like we're going to hit her up later because she executed something without us even like talking to her. And so, yeah, it was actually really cool. I did a test shoot with this company called Well People. They're like this clean beauty wellness like company and I did a whole test shoot down in Laguna with just like literally me and a friend that also happens to model and just blew them up on Instagram and they ended up using the photo like reached out used the photos in an email campaign in their social media like it ended up being super cool and I got like a ton of followers from it and hopefully like that's kind of like a long haul thing where like people now see my name more often so I'm super
oh my
hyped
gosh
absolutely
yeah. Like whether you're in the portrait space, the wedding space, the brand space, utilizing test shoots, utilizing spec work, like that is investments that pay off for a very long time. And sometimes people go, oh, like I only do test shoots if I'm like, in my first year of business or whatever. The most successful wedding photographer that I know of still does test shoots almost every single month because they're like, you know what? This is like continuing to push my brand. This is continuing to attract the type of people I'm wanting to attract. And it's absolutely worth it. And it's like, it's going to create, Yeah, I just love that it's like, let's take the intentionality and let's also go and send a limited amount to the company. It's not like you're giving them
For
content
sure.
for an entire year so that they
Yeah.
don't want to hire you after that because they already gave
Yep.
you everything.
For
But if you
sure.
give them a small little taste of what you're capable of, that's going to go way farther than a cold email,
Yep.
right? That's going to go
Totally.
so much farther. So I love
Yeah.
that.
Totally.
That's
That's
And
really
amazing.
good.
and you typically they're not going to give you like a hello at email. They're going to give you somebody within the company. So that's another
Yes.
great way to do it too.
That's a
Great way to
really,
get
really, really
the
smart
decision
thing
maker.
about it.
For
Absolutely. Yeah.
sure.
Get
That's
your
All right.
great.
So Kenna, let's talk about just the difference in your lifestyle. This is something that the three of us have talked about before. How has life changed from being a 9 to 5 employee to now chasing after running your own business, working really hard in the first year, hitting your first 10K, $12,000 month, and you're only 8 months in? What does that feel like day to day? What are the differences, and is it better?
Totally. That's like kind of a no-brainer. It is 1,000% better. The quality of life is incredible. Like not having to ask for time off or, hey, I don't really feel
Um,
that well today, or I'm kind of out of it. Like the cool thing about being a creative is like your job is to be inspired. So it's like if you're not inspired, go out, get inspired. Like go do something different, like change up the routine, like do something fun that's gonna make life exciting and like just make it more fun. Like
Uh,
honestly, it's so good. Like I was kind of telling you guys earlier, like my husband is so jealous that this is the life that I get to live now, and I kid you not, I wake up every day saying I live in a dream. Like it is incredible that this is what I get to do, and I just get to hang out at coffee shops or like go walk on the beach, or if I'm like bored and I'm like, okay, you know what, my brain is just racked, like I've worked for 5 hours this morning or 6 hours this morning, like I'm just gonna get out. Like it's such a bigger change of pace from fluorescent lights from 9 to 5 to just
um,
getting to like hang out at my house and like do what I love, honestly.
I love that. I always tell people like self-employment is so addictive and it's also contagious. Like other
mm.
people start seeing the lifestyle you're living, and not to say it's not hard, right?
Oh,
Like there's definitely
absolutely.
grind seasons. There's definitely, the pressure's on when you're the one creating the income for your life, but there is nothing like the freedom that comes with that. And it's 100% worth the trade.
Yeah.
And we have seen that even in you, like even in the first call we had with you, like your level of like stress and just being like, this is what I really want to do with my life, but like, can I make it happen? To like now, like the confidence is just like sky high.
Yeah, we
The
love
like
that. It's
enjoyment of
awesome.
life. It's just so cool to watch. And we
Totally.
just want everyone to experience that,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, you're gonna work. Kenna, you'll probably agree with this. I'm assuming you'll probably work harder being self-employed, but you'll also enjoy life harder.
Yes.
Like it's like you spend your time on, you're working harder, and your time off, you're off. You're
You're
hanging
playing
out,
harder.
playing
You're
harder.
relaxing harder.
It's such a cool lifestyle, and we are just in front of everyone listening to the podcast. We're super proud of you.
Yes.
It's been really cool to watch you build what you're building, and I love that you're doing it your own way. You're taking the lessons, the learnings, the tools, the strategies that we've provided you with in the Creativ Rise Mastermind that you've found in other places, and I think what's leading to you having a great first year is you're taking all of that. One, you're implementing it, but two, you're implementing it in a way that makes sense to you and being yourself in the process, which is really cool. So we love the success you're having.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
What
So cool.
couple final questions. One, what would be your piece of advice for Kenna 8 months ago? Like, what would be your advice for someone who's maybe sitting in that spot where they're like, you know what, this is something that I really want to do. Like, what's my next step? Like, what's the next thing that I should really be focusing on to actually achieve what I'm dreaming about? What would be your piece of advice for them?
Shoot. Just do it, honestly. Like, take the course, do the thing, like, get out of your comfort zone, like, just do it. Like, honestly, I was so nervous about like any investment into my business. I was so nervous,
Uh,
like, is this gonna pay off? I was getting nervous, like, am I even gonna be able to do it? Like, whatever they give me, am I actually gonna be able to implement it and like use it? Honestly, like, just do it. And I'm so proud of myself, like looking back, like actually getting on
um,
that phone call with you, not bailing, like actually joining the creative mastermind and like actually doing it. like that was just the biggest part, like not letting my fear stop me and like actually getting out of my comfort zone, stepping out and doing something that scared the crap out of me, because honestly, it paid off big time.
So good. I love that.
What has the ROI been? Speaking of the mastermind, it's like just about $3,000 investment. What's the ROI been for you on that?
Jeez, honestly, like this year alone, because the mastermind was April?
It was February.
Yeah,
It started in February. Ended in March.
Yeah.
Okay, literally, I'm like crazy. But from the beginning of the year, well, let's say February 1st, because when we did it, it's literally been $40,000 since I saw you guys, or like since I started.
So that's over 10x growth, and you just signed on some new retainers. Like your growth is compounding faster and faster every month because of the way that you're growing and growing and growing. Yeah. That's amazing, Kenna. We're so proud of you. That's
so
awesome.
cool. I love that.
That's awesome.
The places I've gotten to travel for this, like literally have people like going to Europe, having people like
lifestyle ROI.
No, literally like Santorini, Kauai, like people are actually hitting me up to shoot stuff there, and like that. Forget the 40,000. That alone, like I would do.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Take me to Kauai.
That's
I
awesome.
Love that. Okay, Kenna, I love it. Where can people find you if they want to follow along on your journey? They want to see these aesthetic photos. They want to see all of it. How can they connect with you?
Yeah, Instagram. I'm on my stories like almost every day, unless I'm in like some editing hole. But Instagram, Kenna Hiskey photo, my website. I don't really have any other social media. I tried TikTok. It just didn't work out.
Perfect. Instagram. That's great. I love it. And then, I feel like we've kind of harped on this question all podcast long, but our ending final question we ask every guest is, why should someone break the creative struggle? Like, why is it worth it to do it?
Quality of life, honestly. Like, quality of life. There's like a lot of like gimmicks and games and like people on social media like, oh, UGC this or do that, or you can do this all on your own, like buy my thing or whatever. And it's like, I can't tell you how many of those I've actually fallen for, unfortunately. Like, you guys are just so intentional and like meaningful, and I feel like the Creative Mastermind is built out for anybody at any point of their business, whether they haven't even started it yet, like Taylor, like had no idea what business she wanted, to me, who was like, I knew what I wanted, but like didn't really know where to go, to like Owen, who is already making crazy money, but like just wanted to do better. So I think it's just like honestly so versatile for whoever, but yeah.
Totally.
I love that answer. Quality of life. Like, that's the reason why you should go for it, is quality of life, right? You think about Kenna last year, 2023 Kenna versus in her quality of life versus Kenna 2024. Like, it's probably like night and day, right? And that, for everybody listening, that can be possible for you too, which is so cool.
Yes.
When you do the things Kenna's done, you commit the way Kenna's committed. That's the thing I just want to leave everybody with. Like, Kenna has gotten where she is because of her commitment to her own growth, to doing the hard work, to working hard, to putting herself in proximity to a community that she can get supported by, to learning from people that have been where she's going. Like, so bravo to you, Kenna. That's been awesome. Thanks for being on the podcast today. This has been such a fun convo.
Heck yeah, of course. I would do it all over again.
Last day.
I love it.
We'll do it again.
Do it again in a year.
We'll do it again. 2025, Kenna, coming up.
Let's go.
Thanks, Kenna.
That's awesome. Thanks for being here, Kenna. Appreciate it.
Of course. Bye.
Well, what a fun conversation with Kenna. I love her story of just getting laid off, going all in. And I love the way that she's doing things her way, which is cool, with like the video responses and some other stuff. I hope you guys got a ton of value out of that episode. She's awesome. Her story is awesome.
Yeah. So if you want to, again, join the same experience that Kenna went through, the 6-week Creativ Rise Mastermind, we get started September 15th, which we're so pumped about. But applications close this Sunday. We've got only a few spots left. So if you want to claim one of those last spots,
5 spots left,
actually. 5 spots left. Go review all the mastermind details. On our website is everything you need to know, what's included, what you're going to learn, including the pricing, payment plans, all of that kind of stuff. Go familiarize yourself with all those details and then jump into the application. It's a really fun application. You can either text back, voice note back, video back. It's super fun. And inside of the application, there's a chance to book a 15-minute call with Joey and I to ask any question you want. We are open books on whether or not this would be right for you. And so we can have a little no pressure call to talk about whether or not it's right for you. So go complete that application, go review all those mastermind materials. We'd love to see your application come through and consider you for one of the last remaining spots. So go do that right now. Again, all that is in the link in the description.
Yep.
And jump in there. We'd love to see you.
We're thrilled, guys. We're super excited about round 12. It is going to be so fun. It's already shaping up to be such an awesome crew.
Yeah.
So far, there's people from Europe, there's people from Australia, there's people from Canada, from the US. It's going to be so fun. So a global experience with a bunch of creatives coming together, no gatekeeping, help each other build their businesses, guided by Christy and I to help you build a six-figure foundation for your business. We are so excited. Getting started September 15th. Let's get pumped up. I'm excited. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. We will see you next week.